At UFC 320, Merab the Machine Dvalishvili pocketed $1.7 million after defeating Cory Sandhagen, a career-changing fortune. But the Georgian workhorse didn't waste it on flash or fame. Whispers say he's investing it into something that fuels more than his body, a project that could outlast his fighting days. Tonight, we uncover his secret empire. Long before the bright lights of Las Vegas, Merab the Machine Dvalishvili was just a tough kid from Tbilisi, Georgia, fighting to survive. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood, his world wasn't comfort, it was concrete, cold gyms, and dreams that felt unreachable. He started with judo and sambo, sometimes training in worn-out shoes on cracked mats. Money was always short, but discipline was free, and that became his currency. When he moved to America, he arrived with a duffel bag, no English, and an impossible dream: to fight in the UFC. He washed dishes, took construction jobs, and slept in tiny apartments to afford gym fees. Every dollar earned went into his training. The hunger forged something rare, a man who didn't need comfort to chase greatness. Merab's nickname, the Machine, wasn't born in the cage. It was born in those years when quitting meant failure and poverty waited outside every gym door. And that same relentless mindset later shaped how he handled money. Because when a man learns to fight for every cent, he never wastes the ones that finally come. Merab's UFC rise was pure grit. No knockout highlight reels, no viral trash talk, just pace, pressure, and punishment. Early paydays barely scratched survival. $25,000 to show, $25,000 to win, sometimes less. But every fight paid for another month of training, another chance to stay in the game. His breakthrough came with a string of dominant wins. Fans started noticing the cardio machine that never slowed down. Sponsors followed. Small deals at first, supplements, local Georgian brands, a few U.S. gym partnerships. His victory over Jose Aldo changed everything. Overnight, Merab wasn't just a grinder, he was a contender. His purse doubled, then tripled, yet he never spent like a star. While others posted designer cars, Merab sent money home to family and saved the rest. Teammates joked that he still drove the same dented SUV even after top 10 payday. He didn't care. For him, money wasn't a toy. It was a tool, a resource for building freedom. And when UFC 320 arrived, a main event slot, a global spotlight, and the biggest paycheck of his life, Merab knew exactly what to do with it. Because every fighter chases glory, but only a few understand what to do once they catch it. At UFC 320, Merab faced Cory Sandhagen, a tactical nightmare, tall, rangy, relentless. But this was Merab's world. For 5 rounds, he drowned Sandhagen under pressure, landing takedowns like clockwork. By the final horn, the crowd knew the Machine had broken another man's rhythm. The win earned him a career-high $1.7 million, including base pay, win bonus, and a slice of pay-per-view revenue. For someone who once struggled to afford gym shoes, that number was life-changing. But Merab didn't celebrate with luxury or excess. He spent the night with his team, eating Georgian food, laughing quietly. The next morning, he was back in the gym, already drilling. When reporters asked how it felt to finally make real money, he smiled and said, "It's good, but I'm thinking about what comes next." That next wasn't a car or mansion. It was investment calls, plans with family, and long-term moves no one saw coming. Because for Merab Dvalishvili, every victory funds the next mission, not the next indulgence. Merab Dvalishvili is a millionaire who still lives like a blue-collar fighter. No private jets, no $300,000 cars, no designer wardrobe. He still trains daily at Serra-Longo Fight Team in Long Island, helping clean the mats after practice. He doesn't chase fame, he chases grind. To most fans, he looks like the same humble Georgian who arrived in America with nothing. But small traces of success are there. They just look different. The first thing Merab bought with his big paydays wasn't for himself. It was a house for his parents in Tbilisi, complete with a garden, a home gym, and modern amenities they'd never had before. It was his quiet way of saying thank you for the sacrifices that built him. He also purchased a small condo near his gym in New York. Nothing flashy, just enough space to live, train, and rest. His splurges are practical. New training gear, recovery equipment, and flights for teammates from Georgia who can't afford to travel for fight camps. Even when his fight money arrived after UFC 320, teammates expected a celebration. Instead, Merab was on a video call, not with promoters, but with people from home. He smiled when asked what he was up to. Just planning something for Georgia. Nobody knew what he meant, but that single line started rumors. Because if there's one thing Merab doesn't do, it's waste time. So what exactly was he planning? And what does a fighter who doesn't spend on himself do with nearly $2 million? That's where the mystery begins. For most fighters, money starts and ends with fight night. But Merab treats his career like a business. His relentless pace, humility, and immigrant story made him a magnet for brands. After his win streak in 2024, sponsorship offers poured in, from Georgian energy drinks to international sportswear companies and U.S. supplement brands. Each deal added tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, to his income. Yet Merab approached them differently. Instead of one-off contracts, he began asking for profit sharing or equity stakes in smaller companies, betting on long-term growth instead of quick cash. That mindset caught even his team off guard. Fighters usually chase fast money. Merab was quietly building a portfolio, and that business sense didn't appear out of nowhere. His longtime coach, Ray Longo, once said, "Merab's not just a fighter, he's a planner. Everything he does, inside or outside the cage, is built to last." By the time UFC 320 rolled around, his sponsorship earnings alone had surpassed $500,000 annually, and that's before counting his fight purse. But he wasn't saving that money. He was moving it. He registered a small business in Georgia, officially listed as a sports and recreation company. It sounded simple, but insiders knew it was a holding company, a foundation for something much bigger. He was playing a game no one in his division was thinking about yet, converting fight fame into legacy assets. Because Merab's mind isn't on the next fight, it's on the next generation. After UFC 320, news broke back home. Merab Dvalishvili had quietly purchased several acres of land in Kakheti, a scenic region of eastern Georgia, known for its vineyards and rolling hills. Locals spotted him meeting with farmers, construction workers, and local officials. Photos surfaced online. Merab standing in work boots, surveying a hillside, smiling like a man who just saw his next round begin. Speculation spread fast. Was the machine building a training camp, a winery, a vacation resort? No one could agree, but what everyone noticed was how deliberate he seemed. He wasn't investing for headlines, he was investing for permanence. Sources close to Merab revealed that the land was part of a larger plan, a multi-purpose project combining athletic training, ecotourism, and local employment. It was his way of giving back to Georgia while creating income streams that could survive long after his last fight. And while many fighters burned through millions trying to look rich, Merab was quietly turning one payday into an ecosystem, one that could feed, train, and employ people from the same streets he came from. He once said in an interview, "I don't need a lot, I just want to build something that helps others, so I never have to fight for money again." What started as a rumor was now becoming a legacy in motion. The world finally learns what the machine was really building on that Georgian hillside. When word spread that Merab was buying land in Georgia, many thought it was just a side project, a symbolic gesture from a national hero. But those who knew him best understood something different. Nothing Merab does is symbolic. Every move he makes is tactical. Within months of UFC 320, he quietly formed partnerships with local business developers and agricultural experts. His plan wasn't just to own land, it was to transform it. Early documents showed he was funding the development of small eco-retreat cabins and training facilities on the property, designed for athletes who wanted to escape city chaos and train in nature. At the same time, he poured money into real estate. Reports surfaced of Merab buying apartment complexes in Tbilisi, some rented to young athletes and coaches he personally mentored. He even invested in a new MMA and wrestling academy, which he co-founded with Georgian sports official, a place designed to give local fighters the opportunities he never had growing up. Financial experts estimate that Merab's investments from the UFC 320 purse could appreciate fivefold in the next decade. He's turning fighting money, volatile, unpredictable, into stable, generational assets. But what really sets him apart is his reason. While most fighters build wealth for comfort, Merab builds to create impact. He's not chasing rich, he's chasing respected. And what he was creating in Kakheti wasn't just a training base or vineyard. It was something unique, something that merged his soul, his story, and his strategy. Because when the machine builds, he doesn't construct luxury, he constructs legacy. Here's the twist that stunned fans and even people close to him. Merab Dvalishvili's Kakheti land isn't just for farming or training, it's both. What he's building is a hybrid vineyard and performance center, a first-of-its-kind concept in Georgia. Locally known as Project Metsketa Rise, it combines wine production, eco-lodging, and athletic rehabilitation into a single ecosystem. Fighters and athletes will be able to train at altitude by morning, recover with natural food and wine by evening, and stay on site. Everything powered by Georgian agriculture and Merab's relentless vision. The vineyard produces organic wine under his family's name, partnering with local growers. Merab's long-time dream, according to his team, was to create something that grows even when he's not fighting. Every bottle sold funds the gym, every guest supports local jobs. Financially, it's brilliant. Analysts Analysts estimate the property could generate $400,000 to $600,000 per year once fully operational, a sustainable income that secures his post-UFC life. But emotionally, it's poetic. The man known for tireless motion finally found a way to let the land do the work. Merab often says, when you plant something in your country, it grows with your name. That's exactly what he's done. Turned fight checks into vines, sweat into soil, and a career built on movement into a future built on roots. He didn't just invest in Georgia, he invested back into Georgia. And in that moment, the machine became something more than a fighter. He became an architect of legacy. So how did Merab's $1.7 million UFC 320 payday transform into an empire? Insiders estimate the breakdown went like this. $600,000 covered taxes, team cuts, and manager fees, the inevitable costs of stardom. $400,000 went directly into developing his Kakheti vineyard and retreat project. $300,000 funneled into real estate in Tbilisi, securing rental properties and athlete housing. $150,000 toward gym expansions and the Machine MMA Academy. The remaining $250,000 invested and saved through his new business structure, diversified between US and Georgian holding. In total, one fight turned into a long-term financial engine, spreading across hospitality, agriculture, and sport. But beyond the numbers, it's what that money means that defines his legacy. Merab's story isn't about fame or luxury. It's about a man who started with nothing, earned everything, and still chose to build for others. His vineyard feeds locals, his gyms train youth, his apartments house the next generation of fighters. While other stars burn their millions chasing flash, Merab invests in permanence, roots, land, and legacy. His $1.7 million didn't buy a Ferrari or a penthouse. It built a future for his country, his people, and his name. And that's what makes Merab Dvalishvili rare. Because in a sport built on exhaustion, he found a way to make his hard work last forever. The machine doesn't stop, he just evolves. And now, even when he stops fighting, his empire keeps moving.